What is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, day 3 of the grandest party of them all, and now we get to try some fun stuff. Yes, we have the new Law and Kid. Unfortunately, I did do these pre-recorded. I was super busy yesterday, and I just didn't get a chance to actually sit down and record, so this video is coming out late. I do apologize about that, but look, life goes on, right? So, the teams we're using look a little bit like this. Obviously, they're down below underneath the art on the left-hand side of the screen as well. Basically, what we've been rocking is this kind of setup, because Gear 5 has been running absolutely riot across the game, and dealing with Gear 5 can be very, very problematic, especially that Psy Free Spirit team. So, we designed a more Psy-killing int-based team that's designed to just slow them down and not have to worry about the burst. Obviously, Strikers are running around with Gear 5 as well, so that's a bit of a problem. Same with stuff like Strength. They can be a big issue too. And then obviously the Dex team is just disgusting at the moment, especially with Big Mom and Blackbeard. They go absolutely AWOL. So this is what we're running. Let's dive into the fights. And if you enjoyed the video, belt like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Let me know if you've used Law and Kid in Grand Party and what you think of them. But like I said, with that, let's dive in. Alright, so the first team is a Gear 5 team. It's not exactly the highest combat power Gear 5 like what we were trying to verse with Rizzy. But it is still a Gear 5 team nonetheless. So that burst is just disgustingly scary. So it is something that we're going to have to look out for. We are rocking our Free Spirit against their Dex team. And then we're going to use that anti-Psy team to just counter out Gear 5 and what he's trying to do. Free Spirit are very, very good at taking damage. So they do work really well as the first fight. However, most of the time with this build, I would run Dex first. You guys will probably see that in tomorrow's video when I use Big Mom, because the setup's very similar, but Big Mom, I do run a Striker team and not a Free Spirit team. Still running Dex, still running Ints. It all works out pretty much the same with this rule set. But the idea of running Law and Kid is they will drastically nerf Driven and Powerhouse as Rumble units. So if you come up against any Powerhouse characters, any Driven-based characters, Law and Kid are basically just going to reduce their attack, reduce their defense, all that fun stuff. And Dex, because it's running around so heavily right now, does get heavily nerfed by these particular characters. So the Free Spirit team going up first is not the best thing in the world, but it's definitely not the worst thing in the world either. We definitely want to try and run that later down the line rather than first. But look, we're here. The Striker team is something to worry about as well, so just be careful out there if you are fighting Gear 5s. Like I said, the Dex Big Mom team is just kind of disgusting as well. And dealing with that can be a bit of a problem. But let's take a look at this fight. Down to the last 60 seconds now, and we're in a pretty good spot here. We've taken a bit of damage with Law and Kid. They do need to take specials. Big Mom needs to deal specials, which is way better in my opinion. But Law and Kid, as long as you take 5 specials, you will be able to activate your burst mechanic. So that works out quite nicely. Zoro putting up counters means we're going to do a lot of extra damage here. And once we hit that last 50 seconds, basically, we are just going to board wipe Luffy Yamato. Having a Dex team with Frankie in the front in 2023 doesn't scare me at all. But, like I said, this is not exactly a crazy-ass Gear 5 fight, and something that isn't too challenging for the Free Spirit team. So, beautiful stuff there. Luffy Yamato taking out Dex Luffy. That special of Kid does look a little bit of Dofi does look a bit problematic. And I decided to use the burst there just so the enemy can't build up his burst. I looked at Dofi's special being charged. Coming into the last 30 seconds, Dofi can do a lot of damage. So I thought, if I take that away and they don't do the damage, we're not going to have to worry about a Gear 5 burst until later in the second fight. If not at all. Because the second fight was actually a Psy build. Now, like I said, the way that we've designed our Int team is purely to nerf Psy. Now, I was going to include characters like your Rogue, but I was going more Driven meta with like Top Musica. But I did decide to bring Katakuri into the play, just because he does some drastic CT reduction against Psy. Whenever you see Gear 5 in a lineup, you can pretty much guarantee that that's going to be a Psy team, as he only boosts Psy. So, utilizing a Int team to nerf that, it's pretty much foolproof, unless someone's doing some cheeky shenanigans running Gear 5 on like a Dex team. But when they're doing stuff like that, you'll usually see Gear 5 at the end of the team rather than the start of the team. So, going up against anti-Psy now, going up against Psy with anti-Psy now, there is one Allure on the team, which means they are going to get 6 cooldowns and reduce our cooldowns by level 6. However, Conus should be fine. She's on 6 cooldowns, which is awesome. The rest of our driven characters are on like a neutral, but because we are still going way faster than them, we are going to get our specials off. We do a lot of damage there with Apu. Beautiful stuff. Unfortunately, we're not going to get our second burst, but look, it's not the end of the world. If we stop them from using their specials, we stop them from doing damage, and that way we don't even have to worry about their burst as well. If Gear 5 survives, though, which he probably should, to be honest, I imagine he would. If he survives, he can output a lot of damage with his fixed damage. The fixed damage of Kuzan is kind of scary as well. Now we're going to cop the burst. This is actually gonna hurt. Yeah, Conus dies there. I think we're in a pretty good spot. This guy's side team wasn't exactly too crazy. I do believe he had, oh, he had a free spirit at the back. Top Musica dying there was actually a huge L. Because Top Musica actually had a special ready to go. And if that Top Musica special went, it would have been game. But look, Broly comes in, he's gonna wrap up this fight for us. Easy peasy. At this point, we should just hit the skip button because it's over. It is over, Red Rover. If we get our burst too, we'll just bink it and we just win. Smoker should wrap this up though, surely. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Smoker. Beautiful stuff. So that was the first fight for Kid Law. Not exactly the most impressive opponent, but nice to see them getting it done, doing some work, and getting the chocolates. Alright, so for the next fight, we still have a retry. I believe this guy had a slasher team as his first team. I didn't actually have a chance to sort of stop and check the actual fights. But I do believe the first team was a slash team, or it might have been a strength-based team. It was, yeah, slashers. That's right. Slashers was stuff like Cat Viper and Bardo Cavendish. Pretty interesting tanky slasher build, but the tanky slasher build in Grand Party, in my opinion, just doesn't work as well as the speedy slasher team does. And stereotypically, you run it under Roger, not under Gear 5. So having the Roger burst just makes this team so much better. However, Gear 5 is still an absolute demon. And any team that has Roger Whitebeard on it is always going to help build up the Gear 5 burst. That's why the Striker team is so successful. With stuff like HP cuts of Jack, HP cuts of Roger Whitebeard, and all works out pretty nice with those particular units. We are going to rock Dex as our first opening team. Whenever I see Roger Whitebeard, I always like to use Dex because Luffy gives a revive to any unit. So no matter what unit gets knocked out from Roger Whitebeard, you bet your ass it's going to be coming back thanks to Luffy. This particular team has Big Mom on it too. Big Mom is an absolute demon for Dex. Dex now has the ability of half stats, which is a absolutely disgusting ass ability. I can't believe we tanked that. That is crazy. Dalton actually tanked that. That's nuts. Half stats is a disgusting ability, and then to chuck it on a team like Dex with the amount of like units they have that are just so incredibly powerful. Pell hitting after half stats, Dalton after hitting after half stats, Doflamingo hitting after half stats. It's actually wild to think about. There's our revive. Luffy did die, so we're probably going to see a Gear 5 burst soon. However, Big Mom did actually hit every single unit, which is very good RNG for us. And if Big Mom hits every unit, she basically kills every single unit. So that's always fun. Bardo Cavendish are going to cop the half stats. Here comes the burst. This actually makes it kind of scary. The Gear 5 burst is kind of nuts. Like, it's the amount of damage output that it has is disgusting. Big Mom's going to die here. I believe we actually get our burst thanks to one more special going off. Bardo Cavendish actually go. And then I believe we win thanks to our burst. Yeah, surviving that shot right there actually wins us the fight. I believe. Because we actually I believe we used the burst here. Or maybe Dofi just wraps it up. Yeah, Dofi just wraps it up. Oh no, the burst, surely. Yeah, we used the burst. There it is. The burst, yeah, coming in clutch, and then Sobermarsh just cleans house here. Love to see that. Sobermarsh just got his level Limit Break expansion as well, and his level Limit Break. Well, his Limit Break expansion is not new, but I did just recently Limit Break expand him, as well as get him to level 4, so that way he gets all these buffs. Dex team, cutting it close against slashes, but look, that's what the burst of Luffy can do. The burst of Luffy does so much damn damage that it hits so hard. And with Lauren Kidd, you have to take 5 specials. Once again, by the way, we're going in with anti-Psy against another Gear 5 Luffy Psy team. The downside with Lauren Kidd is they have to be hit by 5 specials. And when you're fighting Gear 5, if those specials are HP cutting specials, if they're stuff like Blackbeard, Roger Whitebeard, Jack, if you get hit by like Yamato and Odin with the amount of damage they can do, if it's over your HP, it still goes into the Gear 5 charge. It can be really, really disgusting to deal with. And as Kid Law needing to take those specials to get their burst means that you are going to lose a lot of units, and you're pretty much going to have to like sack a team off to like get that burst ready to go. And honestly, their burst, the amount of damage they do, it's nothing compared to what Gear 5 is doing. Gear 5's damage output is way stronger and much, much more massive than what Kid Law is actually doing for a much easier requirement. Big Mom, just dealing 5 specials is great because you can kind of control that. You can basically say, alright, sweet, I'm going to build a team that's super fast, like Slashes, and just bink out 5 specials, get Big Mom's burst, pop that, do a bunch of damage, and you're good. But with Kid Law, you have to take all that. You have to deal with all that, and then you have to be able to throw it back at a much more minimal rate, which is just, it's nowhere near as effective in my opinion. Nevertheless, they are a very good leader. They have great buffs to Driven and Free Spirit. Plus, they boost Int, which is always evolving and it's always been incredibly strong in PvP. So that's very, very powerful. So that's going to wrap this fight up. Smoothie's just hanging on by a bee's dick. She's just like, she's just cruising. But now that she's dead, we can move on to the final fight of the video, showcasing Law and Kid. Hopefully we find another Gear 5 team. I believe we do. I believe that we just fight Gear 5 in this whole video. Alright, so the final fight is a Gear 5 team against, I believe, this guy's in all blue, the Passion sort of fleet. Pretty bulky ass builds, if I'm completely honest with you. Now we're sort of moving into the crux of some of these like bigger teams. Not like your Rizzy 240 plus teams, but got some pretty scary stuff here with a pretty nice side team. The side team is second, and then the first team is a Dex team. I don't ever like running mirror matches. Mirror matches for me aren't a wave. I dislike them thoroughly. I much prefer running a different team against a Dex team. Even though I believe with a Dex team without Big Mom isn't as good as a team with Big Mom. It's just, it ends up being a slogfest, and I'm just not here for it. And the Free Spirit team is very good at soaking up hits, which means that it's very, very good at sort of dealing with units like Kid and Luffy, Dalton, Pell. Blackbeard is a bit of a problem because Blackbeard is a HP cutter, which means that they're going to charge their specials very fast. But being able to tank a bunch of shots means that Kid Law is going to build up their burst nice and fast, and we can actually use it on this fight if we need it to just basically clutch out a win. Zoro's counter is so friggin' strong. Plus, if there is a Roger Whitebeard at the back end or on the third team, we can have our Dex team available for us to just help us with that revive. Free Spirit, they're okay with reviving too because of Zoro, but like nothing compared to what Luffy can do with any Dex unit. So we'll see how we go there. As you can see, we've taken 4 specials, which is awesome because we're in a really good spot. Like, we haven't taken all that much damage. Sanji hasn't been touched because of his shield. Odin should be able to action bind a couple units here. Who do we action bind? I don't know if we checked. No, I don't think we checked. They are tanking quite well too. There's the Pell shot. I don't think is that the 5th special? Again, it's very annoying that you have to take 5 specials. That's why Big Mom, I believe, is just way better in, only in Grand Party, but just in like PvP alone and regular play. I just think Big Mom is the better unit out of the two. Kid Law are really quirky and intricate and all that sort of stuff, but like if we're comparing what the 2 units do, it's like chalk and cheese, man. Well, much bigger Big Mom stand. Big 5. Well, big Gear 5 Mom. We actually have our burst ready to go. We could probably use our burst as well, just sort of guarantee this win. Look, I believe we have the win anyway, but we could just make it a lot quicker. Yeah, no, we've pretty much won. Gear 5 isn't even going to come close. Plus, the next fight is anti-Psy, and you bet your ass they're not getting anywhere near that. They're special with the amount of cooldown reductions we give them. Even with Wano Law on the team, you still give so much cooldown reduction, like nerfing to Psy, that you don't even have to worry about their specials going off like at all. Sometimes it does, like it does come back around if you're not doing enough damage and the team's like super bulky. But most of the time you have enough nerfing capabilities to deal with it. And when you see the Big Mom build that I put together, like yeah, you just don't have to worry about it. So beautiful stuff. Sanji wrapping up that fight. You'd love to see it. Let's move on to the final fight now. As we do 2-0 this one. Nice and simply. I believe this side team was actually pretty good. Kuzan was on the team. Odin, Yamato was there, but there was no Wano Law. So without Wano Law now, you can really see the difference in the cooldowns that you throw at the enemy. Wano Law is still really, really good, and with Driven running around like crazy at the moment, he's just a great unit to have on your side team. But I do believe that just Kuzan is just better. Like, Kuzan is just better. He's just a better unit. So if we have a look, level 9 CD reduction, and we are sitting on, because there's no Wano Law, we're on 6. Top Musica's on 8, and Moria's on 9. So Moria goes in the first 22 seconds, which is just absurd to think about. Top Musica, unfortunately, just didn't go. But now we have Katakuri to go. We then have... Well, I'm sort of keeping an eye on their specials here, because I am looking at when's the best time to use the burst. If we action bind and special binded Yamato there, we special binded Yamato, which is massive. That's the best case scenario. Like, if you're using Konus against Sai, you want Konus to hit Yamato. Like, it's just... If she hits Yamato, it's basically free. After we use the Apu special, once the enemy's next lot of enemy units come in, now we can use the burst. I believe that's what I do. Yep, there it is. That's should kill Odin. Now we don't have to worry about the Odin special. It just kills everyone. Beautiful. So, that is satisfying as fuck. Now Colgaran comes in. Colgara and Nolan versus the world. Unfortunately, now they half stats too. And they don't stand a chance. But that's going to wrap up the video. Day 3 of Grand Party done and dusted. Much better than last season where we actually took an L. But utilizing Kid Law against Gear 5 has been quite successful. But nowhere near as successful as Big Mom has been. So make sure to check into the channel for tomorrow's video where we actually utilize the beast herself, Big Mom. But if you enjoyed this video, belt like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, whether you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.